Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Linda Kwan from the Education University of Hong Kong. My study is exploring experiential learning practices to improve students' understanding. Addition is the first math skills to which most students are introduced. They tend to encounter it well before kindergarten, and the importance of mastering the skill at an early stage as possible cannot be overemphasized. This ability to add numbers gives students a framework for learning maths. Initially in kindergarten and subsequently in primary or at the elementary school. So the aim of this paper is to examine the impact exerted by an experiential learning on students' level of academic performance on addition problems. The study arises out of research in a school where the majority of students aged between 7 and 9 had experienced substantial difficulty in problem solving in math. The study was designed to discover why such a large body of students had so many difficulties in solving what, to their peers elsewhere, might be as seen as simple arithmetic problems well within their capabilities. In the study, 27 students were presented with a few simple arithmetic problems. In order to ascertain and understanding the difficulties which the teachers had indicated that students were encountering in learning math. The problems involved stories in which inequality was increased by a combined with a certain quantity to form a total. Simple addition or subtraction could solve each problem. The quantities involved the small natural numbers not exceeding 20. The findings disclose a number of problems of math language in both procedural and conceptual learning knowledge, and the results derived that fostering experiential learning strategies favor the students' understanding of theoretical concept and leads to the attainment of superior performance. And the study helps understand the symptoms of the poor performance and reasons for it so that they could then design a suitable remedial program. Internationally, early number skills are an important part of both policy documents and research in early maths. Young children can be counting and addition before they enter formal schooling. They tend to encounter these skills well before kindergarten, and the ability to count and add numbers gives students framework for learning maths. So we investigate how students aged between 7 and 9 years solved arithmetic addition problems. And the research question will be investigate exploring experiential learning to improve students' understanding on addition problems. Based on the concept of learning by doing by psychologist Joe Adary, Kwan wrote to build their models for experiential learning. He highlights the importance of experiential learning, which is about application knowledge, and believes that experiential learning addresses needs and wants of individual and is related to personal change and growth. Experiential learning principles. When the subject matter is related to the student's particular interest, learning is more efficient. When external dangers are minimal, learning that is dangerous to the self is more easily internalized and faster. The most persistent and vigorous type of learning is self-initiated learning. Students have a total influence over the type and the direction of the learning process. The primary technique of assessment should be self-evaluation. Counting is of fundamental importance in the understanding of maths. A child to progress in maths, they must be fullest range of accounting strategies and understand how to use them. In the study, particular attention was paid to the accounting strategies employed by the students. And accounting has been the subject of much research, and the findings of early researchers was most instructive and brought in mind during this study. Accounting is the process in which the objects in set are noted at one at a time. And fingers are readily available, agile, discrete, and present is the most obvious way to count. So young children start to count as part of the learning nursery resource. It's important to separate the words into separate numbers, and also a child can see the numbers in the correct order. It almost means that they understand numbers or even represent number of objects. And there are 5 principles of counting strategy. And first one is stable order principle. The order of numbers fixed. And the second one is 1-1 principle. 1-to-1 matching of number names to objects. Another one is cardinal principle, connecting cardinal and ordinal aspects. And so the children has to discover the ordinal number of the last object is the cardinal number of the set. The fourth one is an adjustment principle. 3 streets and 4 streets represent the same abstraction. 3 plus 4 equal to 7. The last one is order irrelevance principle. Children can't unroll of the objects from left to right or from right to left, make no difference. The physical action of finger counting is done in a variety of ways. Touch countings, visual countings, and physical partitions. And visual countings follows with the eyes and head movements. Touch countings touch each other to be counted. The 27 students in the study all attend the same school, aged 7 to 9 years old, and the individual interview with the task, and also the task were decided to reveal how they approach the problems and what difficulties they encounter and why they encounter. And during the interview procedure, and the problem was read to the student, and they were provided with plans of behavior to solve the problem. If the child appeared not to understand the question, then it will be rephrased. If the child suggests an incorrect solution, the question will be rephrased, either by changing the words of the question or by changing the quantities in the question to make it simple. So, changing the words or changing the numbers, we'll try to rephrase it with the words or even change the numbers. So either change the numbers, one letter may be cut and change, or alternatively, row adders may be changed. There are different ways of changing numbers here. So how the student use the information through the observation, we can see that they wrote down numbers sentence or use the concrete items to solve the problem. Or if If it disappeared, the student had not understood the question, we would supply them with something to help them, such as some concrete material. If the child had a difficulty, they may be given 2 coins. If they were still struggling, they will be given further 7 coins. They will then be observed to see how they will use these coins or pencils to find a question and find an answer. And they will not be given the 2 coins and 7 coins, as they will then have to do was to count them all. A grounded analysis was used where the observations were made of the types of solution strategies that the student employed and goals related to these were developed. For the figure 1, the codes are shown. And it was observed that the students employed a variety of strategies. Here's the table highlighting the range of strategies employed by the students. And the findings and discussion here, we find that subsidizing is recognizing how many things there were without having to count them individually. And student since 4 races fingers will be able to recognize their 4. And subsidizing words the other way around. If the student is asked how many 4 fingers, they are in release rates for fingers. And subsidizing is helpful in symbol addition problems. It speeds up the process, and so had to rely on their other counting strategies, and this undoubtedly made the problem-solving process much slower and more difficult. And also the study identified 9 counting strategies, but not all the students use all 9 strategies. Only a small number counts using fingers parts. And this might be thought of a very efficient level of counting using finger parts, since it provides students a total of 15 counts per hand. And counting strategies also have different ways to help students to count, and the vast majority of students use one method of counting. But for every method of counting they use, many had made mistakes. And the teacher's role in experiential learning. Teacher will create a cognitive learning environment, and the teacher will function as a guide. This permits students to make errors throughout the process and learn from them. But necessarily, the teacher will clarify the principle and goals for each level. When students become stuck, the teacher will provide learning tools and information both before and further activity. During the activity, the teacher will give pupils the opportunity to experiment in order for them to uncover the solutions. The teacher will communicate his or her views and opinions with the students without being overbearing. This allows pupils to think about themselves. In conclusion, the lack of variety of coding strategies, being aware of the coding methods available. Even from the same school, they did not adopt standard strategies. And the difficulties employed by the students may be a real hindrance to their progress in learning of math. So the study highlights the need for the teachers to be alert to the strategies that students are using and how well they use them. It is hoped that the method used in the study, the reasons for poor performance in the subject school, identified can be applied to place teachers in other schools. So that the teachers can identify the reason for poor performance and they can then take remedial action. So this is the end of the presentations. Here are the references. Thank you so much.